Good morning, traders. Hope you're all doing fantastic. And you all had a wonderful weekend and ready for the new week with all the uh, interesting and exciting things happening in the forex market. Um, yeah, like I said on my previous post last night, like it's one of the most exciting places to be in terms of volatility, emotions, ups and downs, getting to know yourself, getting to be in a comfortable space with yourself. There's just so many things happening in this what we see right here. It's not just candles up and down, it's volatility in our emotions, volatility in our expectations, and navigating through all those things to get to a point where we are in the zone, as they say, trading in the zone and staying in it, staying in your A game, staying consistent, staying disciplined. It's a journey and it's a process that we take to get there. I'm going to start off by looking at GU, just going to look at it daily quickly, and then we'll take it from there down to the lower time frames, and we'll see what we can potentially expect price to do in today. So first of all, I've marked out this imbalance gap over here, just indicating where price could likely be trading to. We also have this wick towards the downside that kind of looks like we stole some liquidity below this wick low and then traded back towards the upside, ended bullish the next day, which is today, started trading down, traded up, and now we're kind of in this consolidation sideways moving market on the lower time frames. So we could either see price chop around for the entire day, and we'll see we'll see the daily candle end like this, which is a possibility, or we'll see the daily candle draw to either the upside or the downside. In that case, getting a big move or a trending move. Looking at this wick, the one option that I am open to is to see this wick being filled. The other option is to see this high being taken out as well as this one, and then trading into the imbalance on the daily. And then from here on out, we could maybe react and go further towards the downside. Why the downside? Because just if you look at the daily, we are bearish. We are making moves towards the downside. The one thing to note is that we're still actually within this range of high and low because this is the last move that was caused and broke the structure. So we had this move towards downside. We broke below this low, so we created a lower low. We pulled back. We did not go above this high, so we created a lower high. And now this move down, haven't done anything. This pullback didn't break again, and now we're kind of stuck here again. So what this means is that potentially we could need to be looking at premium discount as well within this leg towards the downside. And we can see that we are currently close to 50% being traded from the premium. We're in a discounted price. So the question remains, will we be reaching back into a premium price or a discount price? So it's a lot of things up for debate. A lot of things that we can't know for certain. So what we know for certain, we act upon and we look in that direction. So that's why I'm only concerned with this price action. Will price to the day be trading towards the upside, or will the day be trading down lower towards the downside? Those are the things that I want to see and yeah, see if that happens. So let's go to the 1 hour now. And on the 1 hour, we need to look at a few specific things as well. So we note this liquidity below these lows. We had this kind of gap open on some platforms that showed a gap, on the platforms that just showed a wick. We had this move towards the downside, tapping into some demand supply in this area. And now we're trending towards the upside, and it's very consolidated. So you can see even from the 1 hour, it's really, really messy. But we're just going to plot out some levels. There is our Asian session where you can see Asian session was really trending towards the downside relatively nicely. We have Frankfurt open and we have London open. So we're going to have a look at those areas in a bit on the lower time frame. But just from a 1 hour point of view, where is the 1 hour liquidity? So we have, I would say, these highs towards the left. We have 1H liquidity. And then we also have the Asian session, but I'm not going to take the Asian session. But I'm going to take the extreme over here as a reaching point where price could be reaching to, because we kind of have these relative equal lows. But I'm just going to take this one because we also have a little bit of imbalance in here as well. This we kind of tapped into it, but we might see some more rebalancing in this area if price would be to trade lower into that wick. But we could just see price creating a higher low for this trending market, because on the 1 hour we can see that this is now trending towards the upside. So the expectation would be to see if price does make a pullback and then a continuation further towards the upside. That would be kind of the ideal setup, because then we can try to get in on the pullback, the new high low, and then trade it further towards the upside, targeting these highs. I think that in general would be my favorite option. But let's have a look at the 50 minute. Yeah, I have indicators for all of these things, but I'm just going to do it manually. This is our Asian session, and we can see. Well, let's just put on there so we can get a pip range as well. Asian session 18 pips. It's a nice tight squeezed range. So if we have a nice tight squeezed range, we could see a push out of it and then a pull back and then a continuation further. So this does look promising if we maybe look at something like this for a push down and then a pull back up. Classic manipulation move. The other option is, I think, the price could also just sweep the Asian lows. Just sweep the Asian lows and then continue on further towards the upside, because we have maybe a few things or areas of interest in this area. Currently, I'm not seeing one of my favorite zones to trade from. Maybe something in this candle could be catalyst for price to go higher. Let's have a look at the 5 minute. So this zone might be something to pay attention to. Nicely pushed down. We kind of swept the liquidity below this low. We broke above this high. So I do think price could be trading back into this area, full imbalance, and then continue up higher. So from the get go, I put an alert relatively close to this zone just to be alerted when price is reaching down into that area. But this is currently something that I'm seeing something like this, and then targeting first of all the Asian highs, which would be here, this line, and then this line for the ultimate targets. If we see that expansion move towards the upside, I just need to take note of this area as well. Well, not really, because we didn't have a strong structure break out of this area. So we had this pullback, swept the liquidity below these lows, but then we kind of slowed down, and then the move up that broke this structure was very weak. So it's not a strong structure break, in my opinion. So we could see this as the hunt that we're looking for, but we can also note that the move towards the upside was relatively weak. But I will consider this zone as well. Just keep it in mind. If we see a strong reaction off of this area, and then maybe we see a quick 1 minute entry, then definitely this could be an area to look for potential trades. And obviously, I think it's best to wait for price in and around the 9 a.m. mark and 10 a.m. mark, just to be sure that we don't get caught up in the session open volatility. Yeah. So this is kind of the idea that I have. We came from this imbalance, reacting off of it, push towards the upside, chopping around, and then I would preferably want to see a price making a higher low, and then move back towards the upside, targeting these highs. Or lately, what I've been thinking of doing is just getting in and just targeting 5R and be done with it. Then you know you've secured, and you know you've gotten your piece of the meat. Alternatively, if we see price just moving towards the upside, so now that's the question: what if we don't see the move towards the downside? What if we only see price rallying further towards the upside? Then we have two options. We have an option to wait for the pullback, and we have the option to just sit out and sit on our hands, because ultimately this could also be the case. We could push up, grab the liquidity, and then we can push down into this area, react, and then go up. That's also possible. So if we see the breakout towards the upside, don't necessarily think it's going to continue further, because then it's important to have clear confirmation, because then we can't necessarily just take longs And here, because we broke out, now we're coming back to an order block. It's not as simple as that, unfortunately. Just because it's in line with the session openings. That's what makes it difficult, because we know the session openings, there's news events and there's releases and stuff, and opening volatility. That all can cause a lot of confusion and whipsaw effects, especially on GU. So that's something to keep in mind when you pay attention to your charts. So for now, that is what I'm all that I'm going to do. Yes, keeping that in mind, keeping the chart like this. So now we're quickly going to have a look at Aussie dollar. The best trading days are days where you can clearly exactly see where the daily could be trading to. When days are choppy and moving sideways and you don't have any clear indication on the daily time frame, then that is days where it gets difficult on the lower time frames. So we'd always do our best to see what is clear on the daily. So we're going to mark out this high and this low. So just right off from the bat, we can see those are clean highs and lows where price could be trading to, because we know price trades to previous highs and lows because there's liquidity above them, and that's just the way the structure moves. If we have a trading market like this, price will either trade back towards this high or it will trade to this low, because if price trades to this low, it could be a reversal, and if price trades towards this high, it's just a continuation of the trend. See, so there's always moving from one side to the other, and sometimes we also have price consolidating. So then you would have price not going to each of them, but it just stays in the middle. What does this do? It creates multiple highs and multiple lows, which generates more liquidity, which then causes stronger move towards the upside or a stronger move, to the upside or the downside. So that's something to keep in mind when we're looking at the daily. So we want to see where the daily highs and lows are, because we want to see price trade towards those areas. Not always immediately or in that day, but ultimately. This high looks very good. I do think price could reach for it. And we also have this one to the left. For this one, we can just put a little zone on this one, and ultimately expect price to potentially trade into this area. So we can see the price did react off of it, first down lower, but failed to make a lower low. So this was the last higher low. We failed to make a lower low when price react off of this daily supply. So that tells us the price could potentially just be going up higher. And what do they need to do? Let's go to our 1 hour time frame. We had this gap, and then price just softly traded back towards the upside. And now in this area, we can see the consolidation, price just moving sideways. So for this, we now also just look at our 1 hour liquidity and see where is it. So it's the equal highs above and the low below. Now we have a framework where price could potentially be trading to. Same thing on the daily, just on the 1 hour. Could be trading up, continuing higher, or we could see the move down lower, manipulation, or we can see the move down, manipulation above and then down lower. The last option is the manipulation above, the manipulation below, and then the continuation above. So it's a lot of things that can happen, but we react on what we see happening. But this is important for me to know where's the highs and where's the lows. So ultimately, I'll be looking for price to go higher, just because the daily is supposed to go higher. And then I'll be looking for liquidity on the left hand side. So I can see the imbalance over here. Let's do it like this. And it's below this low. So that's also already a good sign. So let's have a look at the 50-minute. But this now I don't like. I like it when the 1 hour and the 15-minute imbalance aligns, but we're not seeing that over here. It's not aligned. The only place where we do see it is down here, but I don't think this is anything on the 1 hour. It is on the 1 hour as well, so we could potentially see it drop down lower. So I'm not gonna dropping down lower all the way to there. It's just it's a big move and could be the move for the day already. So this Asian session is not as tightly compressed and squeezed as the previous one, but what we can expect, maybe this is potentially in the works, if we see this as a hunt on this low, tapping into this order block. This is a decent area of demand because we had a relatively nice structure break towards the upside. We tapped into this demand again, filled the imbalance. If we now see a strong structure break above, this area of supply. And then I would call that a supply flip, all the smart money concepts and terminology. And then I'll be looking for price to come back to this area and then up higher. So I think this would be my game plan currently on Aussie dollar. Let's just hold this. So this is kind of what I'm seeing. But we need to break above this high. We need to cause this supply to fail, because currently this is just a move towards downside. This could just be seen as a structure break below, and then price could be just reacting off of this area for sales. So you could argue this could be the case as well. But I don't like to take trades within the Asian range of a stop loss above it, because what could happen, price could just sweep the highs, take out, and then go in your direction. So it's very important to wait for the Asian session in this case to go up first. The only case would be to enter up there if you have confirmation to the left or to the right. So this is kind of the case that I'm looking at on Aussie dollar. Maybe a bit more complex, a bit more compressed because of what we're seeing here. And obviously, again, I'm going to wait for the session openings to see what transpires around that timing, just so that we have a clearer indication of the volatility that we have at play. Just noting that we're currently filling this imbalance. Let's just put this down now. You can see we're currently filling this imbalance after a structure break, but we don't really have a sweep above. Maybe a sweep above, small, but hardly. Yeah, so Aussie dollar is a bit more complex. This push up makes it a bit difficult for me to read, and then I would probably expect price to make a move down and then continuation up, or we could just see price continuing further towards downside. It's really uncertain at this stage. Yeah, so that's it for Aussie dollar. EU is a bit more difficult to read if we look at it from a daily point. We have the daily imbalance over here that's open. We had this previous low that price already traded to. So now we're kind of in a neutral zone. So where is price going to next? Well, I'm not sure. I don't really know, because we could either be trading down into this wick, or we could be trading, create the wick for the daily, and then be trading back up into this imbalance. So there's opportunity for shorts, for buys, and short. So on the 1 hour, this could be forming part of a decent shorting area supply. And we have this previous high, so we have some liquidity built up in this zone above, and then this push down, potentially just going below these lows and then slowly turning off. So this is what makes it kind of difficult when you have the slow moving price action or consolidated moving price action. You don't have impulsive moves. You have price just really, how to describe, just going soft. And then you need to see that conviction. You need to see price impulsively break towards the upside and then give you that confirmation interest. I'm going to look too much at EU. I'm just going to leave this one aside, and we're going to just say, okay, we have GU. That's one of the options that we're looking at, and then Aussie dollar, both to go higher. But as you'll know, GU is my favorite pair, or the one that I trade the most. So I'll be mostly focusing on this pair. If I don't get anything, it is what it is. So guys, that is it from my side. Hope you all have a wonderful day, have a wonderful week, and I'll talk to you in the chats.